we'll see how it goes. But if it's up to me, I'm going to do everything I can to be on that field. I'm going to be completely honest with you. I'm tired of being disrespected. So there was no question I was going to play this year.
We are now the Las Vegas Raiders.
Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Vegas Nation Blitz. I'm your host, Cassie Soto. Well, the Raiders have a very slim chance at the playoffs still after an overtime loss to the Chargers dropped the Silver and Black to 7-7 on the season. Joining me now, as always, is Raiders beat writer for the Las Vegas Review-Journal, Vinny Bonsignor. Vinny, we just heard off the top there, Derek Carr saying if he is good to go, if it's up to him, he is going to be suited up this weekend. We know that Marcus Mariota stepped in for Carr when he pulled his groin, suffered a groin injury in that Chargers loss. Do you think Derek Carr is good to go for Saturday?
Still a little up in the air. He has to. The key is can he perform well, obviously, but can he also protect himself? These are. It's a violent sport out there, and if you can't protect yourself by being able to run and cut and do all the things that you have to do as a quarterback, then not only are you sometimes a liability to your team, but you could be a liability to yourself in terms of further injury. So I think they're going to be careful. I think these next 24 hours are going to really tell the story. But I think that if he feels he's close, he's going to fight as hard as possible to play. He's definitely a gamer. He doesn't miss games. He missed 2 in his 7-year career. So that tells you a lot about how tough he can be. But it's on John Gruden and the medical staff to make sure that they're the voice of wisdom here. And if they feel like there's any danger of him, Derek Carr, hurting himself more or hurting the team as well, they'll step in and make the right move.
Well, it is likely that Marcus Mariota will be the backup, will be the starter if Derek Carr is not able to go, Vinny. But I want to toss to this soundbite here from Derek himself. Before we go any further, let's hear what Derek has to say real quick.
Oh, I'm feeling great, but I don't know. We'll see. I took some reps. Marcus, Nate, Zay, Hunter, we all took turns at quarterback today, so we'll see.
Zay Jones and Hunter Renfrow taking some QB reps, Vinny? Do we think that's a decoy? What is going on there?
Well, I think what it really is, and if you go back to Thursday, this was a very real possibility. Once Derek Carr did go out and was out for the game, Marcus Mariota obviously steps in for him. But beyond that, there wasn't a quarterback left on the roster. The Raiders dressed 2 quarterbacks, and if one goes down, it really leaves you in a vulnerable position because who else are you going to play at quarterback if the other guy goes down? Zay Jones and Hunter Renfrow both have some quarterback in their background. If it were to come to that, they would be the options potentially to take over in a drastic situation.
It's 2020, Vinny. They have to be prepared for anything. Well, the of course hypothetical here, if Derek is not able to go, Marcus Mariota would get the start here. How do you imagine that he would do now, fully mentally prepared that he could very well start, as opposed to just being thrown into it during that Chargers game, like he was during that Chargers game?
Well, no question the Miami Dolphins are going to be diligent now this week in preparing for Marcus Mariota because there's a very real possibility that he'll play. But I think the way Marcus performed just coming off the bench in an emergency situation really bodes well for him moving forward. I think he established a lot of confidence for himself. Remember, this was a guy that when the Raiders got him, he was wounded physically and mentally after everything that went down in Tennessee between the injuries, losing his job, losing his confidence. So to see him perform the way he did for him moving forward, that was a big thing. And really quick, going back to Zay Jones and Hunter Renfrow, when you think about it, that's also could be a little bit of a sign that maybe Derek's not going to be able to go, because if you project forward, Derek's not in there, then it's Marcus Mariota and Nathan Peterman. Those are the only 2 quarterbacks you have. If something were to happen to both of those players in the game, then you would definitely have an emergency situation. So I think they're just covering all bases at this point.
I'll see if Hunter Renfrow will be like that gif where the guy throws the ball up really high and then catches it himself. Hopefully they don't have to go that
Zay Jones would be better at that because he's got the speed to do it. Hunter's not so fast, but I'm sure he would love to give it a shot.
Zay's got those levitation skills too that we haven't seen, yes, I think, this season.
Exactly.
Well, it'll definitely be interesting to see what develops in the coming days and who we see starting on Saturday. Vinny, thank you.
All right. Have a good one.
In other news, the Carolina Panthers fired general manager Marty Hurney on Monday. The Panthers are the 5th NFL team to fire their general manager this season. The Los Angeles Rams said running back Cam Akers suffered a high ankle sprain Sunday against the Jets and will be out indefinitely. And Hall of Fame linebacker Kevin Green died at the age of 58. Green played with the Rams, Steelers, Panthers, and 49ers and ranks 3rd on the NFL's all-time sack list. Our social media this week is going to look a little bit different. Let's go ahead and bring in Las Vegas Review-Journal sports journalist Leandre Fox. Leandre, you've got some hot takes this week, so I'll go ahead and let you take it away.
I don't know if we could really call it a hot take, but I think we just need to treat the Raiders just a little bit better, especially on social media. Raider Nation, you guys are wild these last couple of weeks. First, it started off with Josh Jacobs, and he said before the Colts game, he wasn't playing. We don't know really what the origin of that was, but people attacked him for it, especially fantasy football players. And then he got a lot of criticism from everyone basically saying, hey, you need to treat the fantasy football players better. And Josh Jacobs responded and said, look, these people do not like me or do not care about me as a person. They only care about me as a statistic and something that helped them win their fantasy football league, which after football season's over has little to no consequence on actual life. So we got Josh Jacobs addressing that. And he said, hey, fans who know me in real life, who have met me, who have interacted with me ever, know that I rock with them. I rock with the Raider Nation. I rock with NFL fans, Alabama fans. He rocks with them all. And then we get to the Chargers game on Thursday Night Football. And Trayvon Mullen and Keyshawn Nixon, they didn't have the best of games. It happens. It was a short week, Cassie. They get attacked for it. Just vilely attacked. Keyshawn Nixon posting a picture on Instagram. He always posts a picture on Instagram. People enter the comments saying, hey, get off my team. This is my Raiders team. It's not your Raiders team. You just like them. These guys don't know you. Trayvon Mullen had to disable the comments on one of his recent Instagram pictures. And Trayvon Mullen's Instagram is nothing but his son. So when you're attacking him on these pictures, you know, these people they're going to go to those other pictures. And calm down, guys. Yes, they lost some games. Yes, it's been a tough stretch. Yes, their playoff hopes are diminishing as we speak.
Well, that's all you're saying, Dre. A lot to say, but it all makes so much sense. It's the holiday season. Let's be nice to each other. Be nice to people, right?
Cassie, the Raiders posted Isaiah Johnson's birthday shout-out. They always have a birthday shout-out. And somebody right under was like, hey, Derek Carr pulled his groin and lost me my fantasy football season. I hope you guys have a bad Christmas. What are you talking about? What are you talking about?
That is rough, Dre. Rough stuff there, but hopefully this little hot take will change some people's minds. We appreciate it as always. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Cassie.
We are going to take a quick break, but we will be right back. Be nice to people in this commercial break. Before becoming a Raider, Bo Jackson won the Heisman Trophy at which college? Was it A, Alabama, B, Auburn, C, Florida, or D, Georgia?
Stay on the winning page with fan fave Las Vegas Review-Journal to receive Vegas Nation content, plus breaking news, local entertainment, and lifestyle coverage. For only 99 cents a week, you'll get home delivery plus unlimited access to LVRJ.com. However you like it, whenever you like it. Award-winning content, all at your fingertips. Subscribe today at mylvrj.com/superfan.
Our Vegas Nation podcasts keep you up to date with all things Raiders. Get your week going with First and 10 on Mondays featuring Sam Gordon and Vinny Bonsignore.
Who you can count on to make a big play when you need one.
Wednesdays, Heidi Bang brings you in-depth interviews with Raiders players and personalities.
You know it's a great challenge.
On Fridays, get your dose of Raiders talk and musings from Ed Graney and Adam Hill with unsportsmanlike conduct.
Should there be any discipline? No. People are going to get it, and that's fine.
Vegas Nation, fast takes, smart coverage.
Cassie Soto here for Vegas Nation Blitz. Thanks so much for joining us today. Let's go ahead and bring in Las Vegas Review-Journal sports columnist Ed Graney. Ed, I want to start with an article you recently wrote talking about the Raiders' late season conundrums and how coaching might play a part in that. You found that in the last 6 seasons, of course, the last 3 of those with the Raiders, head coach John Gruden is 10-25 from week 12 on. Why is that?
Well, I don't want to talk about in terms of Tampa Bay because I really don't remember those times with him. But the last 3 years, the first year he comes in, he's trying to get his guys. I get that. But the last 2 years, let's be honest, 6-4, finished 7-9, 6-3. Now they're 7-7. We don't know how they're going to finish. It hasn't been good. So I think at the end of the year, this is something he and Mike Mayock and their staff really need to take a look at from week on. What happened? How did they prepare? Who did they play? What went into those losses? Because 1 or 2 years is, it's something that you don't worry about too much. You get into 6 years of a trend, even though, like you said, Cassie, 3 were when he was with Tampa Bay, it still should tell you something that maybe what you're doing late in the season isn't working. So my guess is no matter how they finish this year, and it's going to take a lot for them to even sniff the playoffs, as we know, we can go over that scenario real quick. They need to look at what's happening late in the season because you can't keep doing this as the years go on.
Yeah, well, you preview it there a little bit. Are they going to make it to the playoffs? My question to you, though, is do they win another game this season, Ed?
Well, to make the playoffs, they need to win 2 more games. To make the playoffs, they need to win 2 more games. The Dolphins would have to lose not only the Raiders this week, but then the Buffalo. The tough part is Baltimore's got to lose out. They play the Giants and Bengals. So let's just say it's a really, really long shot that the Raiders would make the playoffs this year. And too much has to happen. These other teams are playing teams they're going to beat or have a good chance of beating, especially in Baltimore's case. I don't know if they win another game, but Miami's playing for the playoffs. They're in a better position than the Raiders are. And at Denver, if you're out of it, then it's just all about self-motivation. If both teams are out of it like they were last year when they went to Denver and lost, then it's about who wants to be there, who wants to keep playing, who's already started their vacation. So, again, I think they'll be still fired up this week, Cassie, because they're still in it mathematically. The last week, if you're out of it, it really all depends on who wants to be there. That's what it comes down to.
Well, let's talk a little bit about a highlight here for the Raiders. The Pro Bowl selection list was released, and the Raiders got 2 guys on that list, tight end Darren Waller and running back Josh Jacobs, though they're not starters. What does this mean for this team? We know they've struggled, but this is the first time for both of these guys. It's pretty special for their careers.
It's a huge deal. And I know Darren Waller said last night that he never could have imagined this. He had the substance abuse problems. He was going to be out of football. I mean, he just couldn't get over that. Now he has, and to come all the way back and to prove himself at a Pro Bowl level, that's an incredible accomplishment. Josh Jacobs in his second year, another incredible accomplishment. So these are 2 bright spots in the last 4 or 5 weeks that have not had many bright spots for the Raiders. I think it's great for those guys.
Yeah, of course, Twitter, love those 2 selections, but they were also saying, where the heck is the love for center Rodney Hudson? What do you think about him being snubbed there?
Popularity contest. You know how I feel about these things. It's like this 3 stars and 4 stars in recruiting. It doesn't matter to me. I don't care anything about that. It's just performance on the field. Rodney Hudson's one of the best at his position in the NFL. I think sometimes that almost hurts him. I think it becomes a cliche where, oh yeah, he's one of the best, but then you look for other names for whatever reason. I think he's definitely a Pro Bowl caliber player. Now look, let's be honest. Their offensive line hasn't been completely healthy all year. It has not been a great year for the offensive line. The last 2 years were good years for the offensive line. This year has not been. That could have played into it as well. No matter how much he has played well individually, it has not been a good year for the offensive line. That might have something to do with it. I don't vote on it. I don't know what goes into the voting for it or what guys are thinking, but I still think he's a really, really good player. And I think sometimes when you know a guy's good year after year after year, it doesn't make it right, but people look for other names. They look for other guys.
Well, I'm sure these Pro Bowl selections would mean a whole lot more if we knew that the Raiders were going into the postseason, right, Ed?
Yeah, to the victors go the spoils. You're right.
All right, Ed. Well, thank you so much. We appreciate it as always. Happy holidays. Stay safe out there.
Happy holidays, Cassie. Take care of yourself.
Thank you. Well, before we take a quick break, I just want to let you all know that we will be bringing you a special episode of Vegas Nation Game Day this Saturday, December 26th at 4 p.m. on Cox Your View Channel 14, ahead of that Raiders matchup versus the Dolphins. Once again, that's Saturday at 4 p.m. on Cox Your View Channel 14. We'll be right back. The answer is B. Auburn. Jackson, who played 4 seasons with the Raiders, is the only person to be named to the Pro Bowl and the Major League Baseball All-Star Game.
Welcome back to the Vegas Nation Blitz. It's Heidi Fang here, your podcast host, and I'm joined with Adam Hill, our NFL writer. We're going to break down this AFC race to the finish with the playoffs starting to shape up. Adam, first of all, we have 7 spots this year. What is it starting to shake out like?
Well, we've got basically 8 teams in the mix for those 7 spots. Unfortunately for Raiders fans, the Raiders really aren't one of them. They are technically alive, but it's going to take a whole lot. Right now, their chances are about 1%. If they were to win their final 2 games, the chances of everything else falling for them to make the playoffs is still only around 4%. So they're probably not in the mix. You've got teams that are in the mix just finishing out the season really strong. That's one of the things that went badly for the Raiders this week. Not only did they lose, but the Colts, the Titans, the Browns, the Ravens all won their games. The Dolphins, all of them won their games. So everybody took that step forward. Those teams are all right in the mix right now. Really the drama you've got the AFC South between the Titans and the Colts, who wins there. Now some drama in the AFC North, the Steelers and the Browns. They're going to play again. There's only one game separating them. One of them will win. One of them will probably be in the wild card spot. And then the Ravens, don't forget about them. I mean, they're sitting at 9-5. They've got 2 games that they should win ahead. They'll go to 11-5. They lose the tiebreaker against the Steelers. But if it's a 3-way tie, they could have a chance there in that mix. So all those teams are teams to watch. The Dolphins coming to town this week against the Raiders, they're in that mix as well, but they have a pretty tough schedule ahead of them here coming up. So it might be a little bit difficult for them. They might be the team that gets left out here.
When you start looking at top seeds, who's going to get that 1 spot, look for a bye, home field advantage down the stretch, how do you think it shakes out between some of the top teams there like the Steelers and the Kansas City Chiefs?
Yeah, well, the Chiefs are the 1 seed. They are the top seed in the AFC, so they're going to have home field advantage throughout. And then you've got the Steelers, who have just started, collapsing. The 3 straight losses, 2 of them to teams that had less than 4 wins. It's never happened in the history of the NFL. And they're now tied with the Buffalo Bills, who look like they're going to sneak into that 2 spot if they can close out the season with a couple of wins here. And then the 4 would be the winner between the Titans and the Colts in the AFC South. And then as far as the seeding for the wild card, everybody's right there, basically tied right now. But I definitely think you should watch the Ravens. If they go 11-5 and they get to that 11 wins, see where they shake out. I mean, that's a team nobody wants to play.
All right, there you have it from Adam Hill. We'll be back next week with more. But right now, everyone, keep watching. We've got this moment in history for you as we reflect on the general managers of the Raiders, and particularly the current general manager, Mike Mayock, and his career. In the history of the Raiders franchise, there have only been 3 general managers: Al Davis, Reggie McKenzie, and currently Mike Mayock. Mike Mayock was officially introduced as the Raiders general manager on December 28th of 2018, replacing Reggie McKenzie. A former analyst for the NFL Network, Mike Mayock came into the position with 0 experience as an executive, but his experience as a draft specialist for the NFL Network was what put his name in the spotlight. He was the host of Path to the Draft that gave people insight on prospective draft picks. He also spent time as a color commentator for both college and NFL football games. Mayock, who had played both college football and baseball at Boston College, was drafted by the Pittsburgh Steelers in the 10th round of the 1981 draft. He was waived during the first roster cuts in 1981, but would return to the NFL to play for the New York Football Giants from 1982 to 1983. As a general manager for the Raiders, his first offseason acquisition of Antonio Brown did not pan out as expected. However, his 2019 draft class did. He managed to capture lightning in a bottle with the standouts that he selected. In 2015, Mike Mayock ranked current Raiders quarterback Marcus Mariota as number 1 at that position. Marcus Mariota was brought in as a Raider for the 2020 season by Mike Mayock. And that'll do it for this moment in Raiders history.
Stay on the winning page with Fan Fave Las Vegas Review Journal to receive Vegas Nation content, plus breaking news, local entertainment, and lifestyle coverage. For only 99 cents a week, you'll get home delivery plus unlimited access to LVRJ.com. However you like it, whenever you like it. Award-winning content, all at your fingertips. Subscribe today at mylvrj.com/superfan.
Our Vegas Nation podcast keep you up to date with all things Raiders. Get your week going with First and 10 on Mondays featuring Sam Gordon and Vinny Bonsignore.
Who do you count on to make a big play when you need one?
Wednesdays, Heidi Bang brings you in-depth interviews with Raiders players and personalities.
You know it's a great challenge.
On Fridays, get your dose of Raiders talk and musings from Ed Graney and Adam Hill with unsportsmanlike conduct.
Should there be any discipline? No. People are going to get it, and that's fine.
Vegas Nation, fast takes, smart coverage.
Welcome back, everyone, to Vegas Nation Blitz. I'm your host, Cassie Soto, joined by Raiders beat writer for the Las Vegas Review-Journal, Sam Gordon. Sam, defensive coordinator Paul Guenther is out. Rod Marinelli is in, yet the numbers didn't look a whole lot different in that overtime loss to the Chargers. What are the numbers saying here, Sam?
They did not look different at all, Cassie. Of course, Justin Herbert, the front runner for Rookie of the Year, Offensive Rookie of the Year, he goes 22 for 33, the 2 touchdown passes and 314 yards, along with his rushing score that ended up winning the game. And then the Chargers accounted for 96 rushing yards. So they're over 400 yards of total offense. What jumped out to me, Cassie, is the Raiders, again, failed to record a takeaway and only recorded 1 sack. They ranked 27th this year in the NFL with only 15 takeaways and 31st with 15 sacks. And they could be on the wrong side of the history if they don't boast of those totals. Since the 1970 NFL-AFL merger, only 3 teams have played a full slate of games and recorded fewer than 20 sacks and 20 takeaways in a single season. That's according to data compiled by the Associated Press. Those teams, Cassie, the 1991 St. Louis Rams, the 2006 Washington football team, and wait for it, the 2018 Raiders, who finished the 2018 season with 13 sacks and only 17 takeaways. And now the 2020 club, there is an opportunity here. There's still 2 more games to escape that short list you don't want to be a part of. First up, of course, the Miami Dolphins on Saturday.
Ouch, Sam, ouch with those numbers. Oh, you said it there. Up next, the 9-5 Miami Dolphins. Sam, Tua is coming to town. What can the Raiders expect?
Yeah, Tua, of course, having an excellent rookie season since stepping in for Ryan Fitzpatrick, Cassie. But I've been more impressed with the Dolphins' defense. You know, we talk about takeaways, and we know the Raiders aren't very good at that. Well, the Dolphins are. They ranked second this season in the NFL with 16 interceptions, and they boast the league leader in interceptions, Xavier Howard. He has 9. That is tops in the NFL, and he had 7 in 2018. So one of the best ball hawks in the NFL. On top of that, the Dolphins, with that stingy pass defense, are also limiting opposing quarterbacks to a pass rating of 83.9. Only the Pittsburgh Steelers and the LA Rams are better. So Tua, a good Miami Dolphins defense, the combination of those factors have the Dolphins squarely in the mix for a playoff berth. We will see what happens on Saturday. And if the Raiders can end the season on a high note after this late season swoon.
Yeah, and if the Dolphins defense gets any interceptions, we'll see which quarterback, Sam, it would come against, right?
Yeah, Marcus Mariota, Derek Carr. I suspect we'll find out more this week throughout the week of practice.
All right, Sammy. Thank you so much as always. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Cassie.
Thanks so much for watching another episode of Vegas Nation Blitz, but we hope you join us this Saturday. That's Saturday, not Sunday. Saturday, December 26th at 4 p.m. on Cox Your View Channel 14 as we give you a preview of that Raiders matchup versus the Dolphins. Again, December 26th at 4 p.m. on Cox Your View Channel 14. For our Vegas Nation team, I'm Cassie Soto. We hope you have a very safe and happy holiday season. Thanks so much. We'll see you then.